Welcome to the Realty Rundown, the podcast that cuts through the noise of the real estate world. Your hosts, seasoned industry experts Nick and Nate, are here to guide you through the entire process. Each week, they're breaking down the latest market trends, decoding complex jargon, and sharing insider secrets you won't find anywhere else. Whether you're buying your first home, selling a property, or building an investment portfolio, we provide the clear, actionable advice you need to make your next move your best move.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Realty Rundown from the Nic Wyse team. I'm Nic Wyse, and join me as always, Nathan Schwartz.
That's right. Hello, hello.
Today's episode is going to tackle the government shutdown that we're all currently living through, and it seems to have no end in sight, even though we're just on day 3 of it. No, I'm sorry, that's actually not true. It's like business day 3, but it's actually almost a week into this thing. It's interesting. What does this mean? What does it mean for mortgage rates? What does it mean for loan processing? And what does it mean for real estate decisions in the weeks ahead?
Yeah, so this one touches everything from data the Fed uses to set policy to how quickly USDA, FHA, or VA loan can get to the closing table. Let's break down what's real, what's noise, and how buyers and sellers can navigate it. So to get the ball rolling here, Nick, start with the big picture. How does a shutdown hit the mortgage market?
Well, for one, I've got a picture up on the screen now, Nate, and you will see it's pretty devastating. When you get to check this out,
I can't wait to see that.
Very devastating what can happen in these situations. There's like a 30-foot squirrel on somebody's roof. That's the kind of stuff that you can deal with here. The government shutting down means they can't come and remove these squirrels.
That's right.
No, it's a ridiculous image, but I had some fun creating it, so I hope everybody enjoys that. The reality of the situation is it affects things differently when we talk about short-term versus long-term. So here in the short term, the market can do what we consider like a wobble. Investors may be moving into more safe harbors like treasuries, which they often do during these shutdowns. And when they do that, that can nudge yields down, and sometimes, therefore, mortgage rates can actually go down a little bit. We're talking about like 1/8 of a point or 1/4 of a point. That's certainly not a guarantee because there's so many other forces that can offset that.
Yeah, good to know. So the longer it drags on, the bigger the risks, I assume?
Yep. So there's those prolonged shutdowns delay some, really critical federal economic reports. It's the data that we're going to be missing, because there's nobody there to give it to us. So when we talk about jobs, inflation, retail sales, this basically makes the Fed, the Federal Reserve, it makes them kind of fly blind, going into these next meetings. The less data they have, the more uncertainty that they have around interest rate policy.
Yeah, I can see that. So real world question here. Will my loan close?
I don't know.
Oh, darn
right
it. You
now,
have the answers to everything.
Yeah. Right now, things are moving ahead. They're okay. But some loans are more exposed than others. Obviously, if you've got an FHA loan or a VA loan, they're probably going to face some processing slowdowns at best. USDA loans, and again, these are all government-backed loans, but USDA loans, they're already pausing, from what I understand, some new loan applications. And they're pausing the ability to schedule closings during this shutdown. So we haven't seen that transfer over to the FHA and the VA yet, but we might. That's just realistic. And then there's even some conventional loan snags that can happen. If your lender needs to call in and get IRS verification for your income, or SSA verification, your Social Security Administration number verification, those aren't going to be available on normal timelines.
Man, so what does this mean for the housing market overall?
Yeah, I think in the brief, and if this stays brief, we're just going to see a small kind of temporary dip in rates, that flight to safety dynamic that we're talking about. But if it drags on, investors need to start worrying about U.S. credit picture, the overall picture of what the U.S. credit looks like in an international way, And ironically, that's going to do the opposite then. If there's some concerns there, that can push rates up. So bottom line, short term, a little bit of an easing effect. And then long term, there's just uncertainty, which can unfortunately lead to a worse credit score for the U.S. and higher rates.
So in regard to the economy, then, what are analysts saying?
Well, the expectation is, the rule of thumb is when there's these shutdowns, it can nick the GDP growth, which has been so good. We just got those 3.8% numbers, right. Fantastic GDP growth. And now we're looking at, having some damage to that. If this turns into like a quarter length standoff, an actually long-term standoff, it can do some real damage. Not only confidence will sag, But policy calls are going to get harder without that official data. Past shutdowns are often short, typically short. And I've been doing this a long time, and they've always been very short. This one's risks feel a little more real to me. They're a little more, I don't know, man. It just seems like the shutdown may linger because the two sides are very entrenched right now.
Yep.
There's a lot more than just the legislation. I think there's a lot of political play going on right here. Nobody wants the other side to win. They're both blaming the other side. And it feels like that divide is stronger than ever.
Yeah, I would agree. So, any advice for buyers?
Just stay mortgage ready. By that we mean keep your pre-approvals fresh. Don't be afraid to rate shop still. Don't fixate on the headlines. We're not there yet. But just build yourself a little time cushion, a timeline cushion, especially if you're planning to use one of those government-backed loans, the FHA, the VA, the USDA loans, and then just ask your lender up front. Do they have any verification workarounds that they know about during the shutdown?
And any advice for sellers?
Yeah. So sellers, just price to the market like you have been. Showings and offers, they're not going to stop just because Washington has stopped. But you do have to be aware of the occasional closing table delays. That's what you could be faced with. So if you're going on selling your house and you're buying another house, just know and just kind of build that into, your plan ahead of time that there may be some delays, especially for any loans that would, again, need any federal verifications or guarantees.
This gives me the vibe of airport security after rule change. Flights still take off, but everyone needs an extra 15 minutes and a little patience.
Yeah, that's about right. The good news is you still get to keep your shoes on during this process. But you might want to arrive to the gate a little early and expect those delays.
Oh, man. Well, to sum it up, the shutdown creates uncertainty. Short-term rates could dip a touch if investors pile into treasuries, but long-lasting gridlock can push rates the other way. Delayed federal data makes it harder for the Fed to chart a course, and government-tied loans may see processing hiccups. Plan for minor delays, control what you can, and stay ready.
That's it, man. Control what you can. You've got professionals out there doing the rest for you. Me and Nate got you. Your lenders are professionals. They've got you. Just control what you can. If you want to buy a house, don't just hit the big pause button. We can still move forward. We're not in any kind of a real danger zone yet. Let's hope they get figured out in DC, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's it. Nice short one for you. That's episode 39 of the Realty Rundown. If you're looking to buy or sell during the shutdown, don't be afraid to call us. We'll help you navigate this. We'll help you get through the timelines and all the paperwork. Until next time, guys, Nick knows. Get your wise replies.
That's right. Thanks, guys.
And that's a wrap on another episode. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you had as much fun as we did. We love sharing real estate insights, but as you can see, we also love to have a good time. This energy and passion is what we bring to every client. Buying or selling a home is a huge deal, but it doesn't have to be stressful. With the right team, it can even be fun. Ready to make your move? Let's connect.